Cooking Daddy, where I show you how to cook on a budget. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. 5th of May. Mexico's independence. We should all be celebrating that today. And today we'll be making chicken burritos. Just an update on the channel real quick. I got some feedback on the last video. And I understand that the video was a little long, clocked in at a little over 30 minutes. And I was kind of jumping all over the place. I didn't use all the ingredients that I pulled out. And so we're gonna try to rectify that today. Even cutting it and everything. My original plan with the show was to cook with you guys. So the whole run time was roughly about how long it was going to take to cook. And so today I'm going to do that a little differently. I'm going to try to speed it up. And as my wife would like to say, I like to hear myself talk. If you hear yelling, that's the children playing outside. So anyway, let's get started on our chicken tacos. And there's a couple different ways to cook your chicken tacos. You can cook the chicken and then shred it. It takes more time. You have to cook the chicken and then you take 2 forks and you shred it. I usually do that when I do chicken quesadillas. It works excellent for chicken tacos as well. But us here at the Cooking Daddy house, we had to work today, and I'm assuming a majority of you got to work, even though it's Cinco de Mayo. So how do you cook a good chicken taco when you just got back home from work and everyone's ready for taco night and you don't want any ground beef, or maybe you don't have ground beef or steak or whatever you use to make your regular tacos or burritos with? So we have here chicken breasts. So the way we're going to do these today, we're going to cut these up into squares here. Here's our already thawed meat. Now at this point, if you have a cast iron, this is when you're going to want to heat it up. If you are not using cast iron, using aluminum, you can wait until you're about ready. Aluminum will heat up a lot faster than cast iron. So ingredients we're going to use today: minced garlic, cumin, onion powder, a little bit of black pepper, oregano. I know, oregano, it's weird. Cayenne pepper. And that's it. That's how we're gonna make. I usually use a turmeric with my any kind of taco seasoning. We happen to run out, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on dicing up. We're gonna dice these. We're gonna cut them into little squares. So we're going to just kind of cut these up. we have cut up little strips, cubes of chicken. You can cut them smaller. Keep in mind, when you cook chicken, it's going to shrink a little bit. So you don't have to get them, like if you want pieces the same size as this right here, you probably don't want to cut it this small. This is going to shrink up just a little bit. So if you get pieces kind of bigger like this and you think, oh, that's going to be too big, it'll shrink up. Now this is not a very traditional way to make chicken tacos. I think it definitely tastes a lot better shredded, but we're going to do it cubed. So first thing, we're going to mix in some cumin. Now this is going to be the main taste of your tacos. A little bit of pepper. A little bit of onion powder. Oregano. Cayenne pepper. Now the cayenne pepper, adjust it. If you've never cooked with cayenne pepper before, then be careful. It's hot. Hot stuff. So now we're just going to go ahead and mix this all up and get all the chicken coated in that seasoning mix. Now as you're cooking, you can add more of whatever you want. If you just have a taco packet mix, throw that in. You don't have to do what I do. I do it this way because I can make a lot of taco mix out of just using the ingredients. And it's probably not the exact same ingredients as if you go get Old El Paso or the pre-made taco mix. Once you got it mixed up, you're about ready to cook. Of course, you can't have burritos without rice. So, our rice here, now the general rule with rice is we want to use however much rice we put in the pot, we want to double the water that we put in there. We'll do 2/3 rice. Lost video for a second. I caught it though. So 2/3 rice. We have 2/3 cup of rice in here. Now we want to put in double that. So however much you put in there, you want to put in twice as much water. Stop barking. So there's 1, 2. And there's 4. So basically the same ingredients that we put into the meat mix, we want to put into the rice mix. So a little cumin. I'm going to put some oregano. Onion powder. A little bit of cayenne pepper. And onion powder. And then we're going to take our minced garlic. We're going to put in a little bit of there. Not too much. You don't want the garlic to overpower. Probably like that. I'm going to put it in there. And mix all that up in with the rice. And we'll put it on the stove at a medium heat until it boils. And of course, gotta have chips and queso. So, this is a Velveeta brand cheese. We don't have to use the Velveeta brand if you don't want to. They have off-brand stuff and it tastes just as fine as a dip. And then Rotel. And they also have off-brand Rotel. You don't have to buy name brand stuff to save you a little bit. I use the mild. They have hotter stuff if you like that, but you don't have to use it. If you don't want to use name brand Rotel, just a diced tomatoes and green chilies, kind of what you're looking for. Now keep in mind, this cutting board was clean before I started this. Okay. Anytime you're dealing with any kind of raw meat, you want to clean your hands, you want to clean your surfaces, your knives, your cutting boards, whatever you're using. So this has been cleaned off with soap and water before I started this. And what you're going to want to do with this is you're going to cube it up. I use a serrated knife on the Velveeta stuff because technically it's not real cheese and it just works a lot better. And there you go, you got your cheese cubed up. Basically we want to cube it because the smaller the pieces, the faster that the cheese is going to melt. Generally I try to keep all my food coming out so that it's all finished at the same time. So like right now the rice is going that we just made. The pan for my chicken is getting hot. Right now it's just kind of sitting in the ingredients, kind of soaking in that flavor. You don't have to do that. Really, that's kind of the beauty of cooking. You just kind of do whatever you want to do. And usually it turns out pretty good. Alright, so we're going to start cooking now. A little bit of milk into this pot. This is the pot we're going to be putting the cheese into. The milk keeps it from burning to the bottom there. And it kind of makes it a little thinner. So it's not as thick. It's not going to make this amount of milk is not going to change how thick it's going to be. So now we're going to put it up on a low setting. Too high and it's going to burn the cheese. So now we have a cutting board with the cheese that we just cut up, and we can just start putting it into the pot. If they stick together like that, that's okay. As it starts melting and heating up, it'll pull apart. And now our Rotel. And we see our rice is already cooking. It's getting ready to boil. Go ahead and stir that up occasionally to get the ingredients mixed in. A lot of people are scared of rice. Don't be scared of rice. You're bigger than it. Wooden spoons. I'm going to change the heat for this cheese to a medium-low. And now we just let it go. Alright, so we've been cooking now for about 3-4 minutes. Cheese is starting to melt. It's kind of gross right now, but it'll turn into cheese. Our rice is starting to boil now, so we're going to lower the heat to the lowest setting. We're going to put a lid on it. This isn't the right size lid. I broke mine, but this will work. Now, you may have to play with your stove tops for a little bit to find the right temperature setting for things. It'll take a few times, just trial and error, not a big deal. But now we're going to put the chicken, another wooden spoon, onto my skillet or pan. Now these little pieces aren't going to take very long to cook, but that's okay. And now that I have it in there, I can see that I'm probably going to need a little more ingredients. So I'm going to put some more cumin on there. And I'm also going to put some of that minced garlic. About yay much. Put it in there. And we're just going to mix it up. And we're going to let it cook. Alright, we had a last minute addition. I had a request for refried beans. Great value, fat-free, refried beans. A little tip. If you ever have to boil or cook something and you've already started, you know it's not going to be ready in time, take a pan. And because the surface area is greater, oh, that's appetizing. Looks like dog food. But it'll look good. So now we're going to turn up about medium-low. We want to kind of smash it down and get it as flat as possible. And then I don't know if you guys are sick of butter. If you made the pork steaks with me, you might very well be sick of butter. I promise we're not going to use a lot. Put a little bit onto your beans. Now, the only thing you're not going to want to touch once we're going is the rice. You want to let the rice sit there and kind of simmer in that hot water and soak up all the water and ingredients. But you want to continuously stir the cheese throughout this process so that it doesn't burn. And then we're going to continue to cook. Alright, so it looks like our cheese is all melted and done. Gotta keep the hordes at bay because, man, they are telling me they are hungry. We're going to take this off, put it in a bowl, and let them eat some chips and dip before we get started on eating. Alright, so our chicken is cooked. If you see, I still have some cheese left in there. I filled a bowl and took it out with some chips for them. The beans aren't quite ready, but the chicken is. So I'm going to turn the heat off on that for now. I'm going to continue cooking these beans and the rice until we're ready to make our burritos. Alright, so I've transferred the chicken into a separate bowl here. I have my burrito tortilla. So here's how we're going to do this. So shredded cheese, small layer right there. Some chicken. Now, take some of our beans. And our rice. And when it's finished, you'll take a fork. You just kind of fluff up the rice there. Get that kind of mix up the last bit of the ingredients that's in the rice. And a little bit more cheese. If there's anything else you want to put in here, onions, tomatoes, however, that's okay. You can put that in at this point. And then we are going to roll it. So an easy way to roll, fold it in half, and then roll. And as you roll, kind of tuck these little corners in. Until you have a burrito. Alright, so I've cleaned out my skillet here and I got it warmed up again. We're going to take our folded burrito and we're just going to cook one side first. And then once we have it gets kind of browned on the bottom, we're going to flip it over. Alright guys, and there you go. Whoop! Slid right off the plate. There is your chicken burritos. You can top these whatever you want if you want to. You can even top it with some queso or anything like that. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Leave a comment what you want me to cook next. Let me know how this worked out for you guys. Until next time.